All right, so I'm going to hopefully keep this brief, but no promises. Um, so mostly what I want to record and talk about and kind of explore is helping people. Like a kind of like purpose and shit. I forget like what the main point of it was, but um to hopefully get there and like backtrack. I there's a few things that's happened that made me reflect on some specific things like in my very early childhood. um these are going to sound crazy, and maybe I am. Maybe I am. Fair fucking point. But no, when I was very long, um, I had a kind of like vision or whatever, and in it, I said, well, it was very vague. There was like, it was just darkness, and apparently, I said in like some deep voice that I obviously didn't had because I was a child. Um, I don't want to be born or something like that. And apparently, I formed a story around that where like, my soul or whatever was like some kind of shadow demon. That's why the thing was dark or something. And he tried to take over the throne of hell or some shit and got caught, and like is supposed to be like put into a body for like Satan's plan destroyed world or some shit. And that's me now. But and it became me. But but the thing is, when I sat with that story, I was like, wait, if I'm a hellspawn, does that mean I gotta treat people? I gotta like do bad things and shit? But like I don't have to be good. Like what does that mean? But when it comes to like Satan's children or whatever, like they're usually rebellious, you know? They usually don't follow the rules that Daddy Satan like wants them to do. So I'm like, okay. I to be honest, I have no idea. I have no idea how I can notice it so young. Like I don't remember what kind of like media was showing like devil spawn, like what they were doing and stuff and stories like that. But anyway, there's tons of store things like that. So I thought like, oh well, if I can just fucking do what I want, then I guess I'm just gonna fucking try help people, and if Daddy Satan don't like it, he can fucking try and stop me or some shit. But yeah, so that's one instance, and then another is like also very young. the idea of a life purpose came up. And so, I mean, I was kind of like watching cartoons and stuff. There was Cartoon Network, there was Nickelodeon with like Jenny, Teenage Robot, Powerpuff Girls, and those type shows. So maybe at least that's what I remember. It almost doesn't make, well, it kind of does make sense because when I was a young lad, I also remember like watching wrestling and BattleBots. So, um, anyway, the idea of, life purpose. And so I reflected on my life and I came to the conclusion that um, my purpose must be to suffer because that's like what commonly happens in my life is I suffer and struggle and shit. But I wasn't abused at all. Maybe sort of neglected. My mother made sure that I ate, had food, and she made sure I had a bed, and she'd sleep on the couch when we couldn't afford another bed. But I was still like kind of alone and not really I don't know. Like I didn't exactly feel lonely, but there have been times where I felt like my feelings and weren't cared about or something. But she done her best, and I would say she's better than what I see sometimes or hear. Um, but basically, I came to that conclusion that like my purpose is to suffer, and at the time, like the strange little gremlin that I am, fucking, I saw it as a good thing. I was like, wow, okay, I figured it out, and like I can use this thing to like help people. I ain't know, I never played video games at that point in time, so, but as an analogy, I basically saw myself as like, hey, I can become a tank. So like a damage sponge or something. So if anybody's like struggling physically or something, or they're being hit or something, I could just like swoop in and like take that shit and suffer in place of them. It was I don't remember doing that all that much, but that was like the idea. And so I saw it as a good thing, and eventually I learned that like purpose isn't something you're born with, it's something you choose. And then I kind of like fell out of that. But also when I was younger, like I could take a lot more fucking pain than I can now. My body, it's not in its prime, and I'm out of shape, yeah, the whole like helping people thing. And this isn't to say like, oh, I'm a fucking good person, because no. I can be a piece of shit and still help people. In fact, like, I'd rather be. Uh, I'm not comfortable being called a good person because that's a avenue to treat people like shit, and rather not play that game. But the idea was in my brain, like, there was another random, like, well, it wasn't totally random, but an idea came to my mind of, like, actually, I don't remember what questions led to it, but I was like questioning myself, and for some reason I got to a point where it's like, would helping people be worth living for or something? Because I guess it stemmed from an idea or something that I watched from a video recently where um like I am very pessimistic, especially when stressed and cynical and shit. And in this video, it said something about optimism and pessimism. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's going to be issues, and just take care of them. It doesn't like, I guess optimism kind of helps, but the way he described it, which is also true, is that like both can be problematic because optimism, feeling like things are okay, can lead to complacency and not actually getting shit done. Pessimism could lead to despair and feeling like it's not worth doing anything, so nothing fucking gets done. So, so the thing is just to do the thing. And in the video, there was also talks about like a little bit of like what would do good and impact, like what actions, what's the impact of our actions, I guess, and more like the scope or importance or significance. And there was something said about like it's a bit loose, but there was something said about as long as I'm doing some good, then it kind of doesn't matter the impact. I mean, it can matter, but yeah, I don't remember it too well to actually accurately describe it, but more or less like the idea of like, as long as we're doing some good to try and make tomorrow better, then it doesn't even matter if like we're all going to die or if the future's bleak or if the apocalypse is going to be soon. The thing is, even if the apocalypse is going to be soon, it doesn't get rid of the problems we have now. So like, we can still like try to do good to at least tackle the issues of today to try and make tomorrow better, even if like tomorrow is our last day left, you know? But but yeah, that got me. That's like been swirling around in my subconscious, and I've been thinking that like what can help me calm down through my pessimism is to do more of like a psychiatrist thing to myself of just ask myself questions without um being judgmental, I guess. And I guess that would help me process things, my feelings and thoughts, instead of feeling like I have to lash out from the pain or defend myself from shit that people would probably like not like me for and shit. My terrible views, my pessimism and cynicism. Um, but when I got to that moment where it's like, because usually I feel like I I don't want to live, or in the very least that like being alive sucks and it's not worth doing exactly. And I don't remember like the questions I asked or how I really got there, but I was thinking about like just doing some good, you know? Not so like not solving the problems and shit that I hate in this world, because boy do I hate being human. I hate fucking being flawed. Means I'm gonna sometimes make mistakes. I'm gonna sometimes hurt people. Doesn't matter what my intentions are, and I also have fucking darkness in my soul and fucking hate myself for fucking having that and for having to fucking deal with this. It just, I don't want, I'd rather not, but for some reason when I thought of like just doing some good, and there was something there that changed. I I don't have the best recollection of events or even know how to explain them, but to try my best. I want to say there was a hesitation, but I don't know if that's exactly accurate. It's so weird because the way I felt when I was like, I kind of like understood some things there. where in the very least, it still does suck that, you know, I'm gonna, it's always going to be the case where I'm going to sometimes hurt people, and where I'm still gonna have to deal with the fucking darkness within me, and I'm always gonna be a monster sometimes and shit, and life is a struggle. But if I can at least do some good, then for some reason thinking that there's no reason for me to be alive, kinda, I don't know how to say it, or even if I understand it, because it's not like it goes away. It's just, it just kind of like stops midway, I guess. And I kind of don't, yeah, I guess I need to reflect on it more to be able to really describe like the difference between like how I was and how I am now. 'Cause I mean, I guess I can just try and ask myself fucking questions, you know, like I really don't understand it. Wow. But I guess I can move on a little bit and say some things I do know, where like the idea of just doing some good, because in the video I watched is like they mentioned that they didn't know what would be the most good or the most efficient good that they can do, but the video that they were doing the collab with, that was a good that they can do that day in that moment. So at least there's still like some good being done. And like even then, like we don't exactly know the impact that most of our actions do, because there's almost always unintended consequences. But like how if people view my videos, I don't know how they feel about them unless they would comment, and they're like, I don't get comments on my videos, basically. In the very least, I don't get comments on my videos telling me about their thoughts on the videos. So But so I've been thinking about like what would do me good or what would do someone else good, you know? And like usually I am with my head up my own butt where like I have all these chores that need done and it feels like I'm never going to get a fucking break from them because there's just so much to juggle all the time. But I'm thinking like even just doing some small thing to make someone else happy in the moment, that's okay and cool too. And usually I don't think like that because usually I'm like this thing is going to like I have my own responsibilities and my own future I need to take care of and everything, and anxiety and stress from that of what the hell am I going to do with myself. And it does get pretty stressful in that mental framework, but I guess now I'm thinking more in lines of like if I can do something that will help me or someone else today or tomorrow, then like for today or something I do today helps for tomorrow, that oh then I'm at least doing okay. Like a sense of life purpose, a purpose for me being alive. Where like I don't have to craft a good and safe life. Like that'd be nice. I don't have to craft an enjoyable not life, which reminds me that also in the same video they said something about like humans weren't made to be happy. They were like they were made to survive. Like that's the skills that we were made for. We don't have the skills or instincts that would lead to happiness, which also comes from like the whole thing about like compassion, like being compassionate toward each other and fixing problems. If those were really like, you know, good things to do, then why don't people do them? Why are we more inclined to be more like tribal? And we're more towards like instead of like trying to fix the problem, we're like we gotta make sure we win because losing sucks, because when we lose then horrible things happen. Our needs, our concerns are just swept under a rug. They don't matter because we lose and nobody wants to fucking lose. And which is why I don't, even though it's in my nature, I don't want to be in those kind of situations where it's like a competition where like the only one, the point is to win. Like when someone says that like, you know, someone else has it harder than me or something. I like, as far as I know, nobody said this, especially not recently, but if it happens, like, I imagine I'd be like, oh, really? Well, because the idea is like, I shouldn't complain because I have it better than this other person, and I'd retaliate with, no, 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 no. I should complain, and that person should complain more. Because if they really do have it worse than me, then why shouldn't they speak up so that people can care about that? Or are they not allowed to do it because someone else has it worse than them? So their suffering doesn't actually matter because they're not the ones suffering the most. And I want to play that game. I want people like, if people are suffering, it doesn't matter if it's not about who wins. It's not a competition of suffering. We can still like care about that shit. But so yeah, I just want to talk, just process these things like I kind of need to do my manual dishes because there's a lot of silverware piling up, but it doesn't really help me all that much. But I should be doing laundry tomorrow, so doing my laundry would definitely help me out a bit more. But I don't have to do what's the most important. But as long as I'm doing something that does me some good, then yeah. I feel more mellow for some reason because of that. And here's the like meta thing. It might not be meta, it feels meta to me. Because like I asked myself, why am I mellow? You know? Like what's the difference? And the thing is like when I was stressing, I was basically stressing because I don't have a purpose. I don't see a reason for me or anybody to be alive, to exist, to suffer with, you know, existence and shit. And it's really hard to really figure it out when people are like, certain people, like criminals that a majority of people hate like deserve to die or something, and then it's like questioning that. It's like, if they deserve to die, then why are they being let to live? Like, if they're being let to live, then what does that mean about me? I haven't done any criminal actions, especially not what they've done. But how am I supposed to know that I deserve to live when people say that these people deserve to die and yet they're being let live anyway? Like, how am I supposed to rationalize this shit? And thinking about is just painful. Like, why do I have to deal with all this? And complications about what's good, what's just, what because I feel like people, if people see you as a bad person, they will try to justify treating you like shit and doing cruel and terrible things to you because they see themselves as better than you. But it also comes from pain. But like, I don't like that because it's basically like Hitler, how Hitler done the Jews. Like, even if it's not to that extreme, it's still like his evil is trying to justify doing cruel things to the people he hates, and that's exactly what everyone does. And that's a darkness that's also inside me that I'm hate fucking dealing with. And I also use that as like an excuse to treat myself like shit, because if I hate myself and like I'm in pain because of myself, then it may like if if it's okay for our people shit on the people they hate, then fucking I'll do the same and fucking yeah. But but like my main motivators and stressors were to I had to figure out what would make me happy, you know? What would make me happy enough to where it would justify me going through life and its struggles and suffering, you know? And now this thing of like doing good, even if it's like just a little bit, like doing some good, it has calmed me down because that's kind of an answer. If I'm looking to do some good for either me or our people, even if it's just making them a little bit happier in the moment, then I guess, okay, so here's a kind of analogy. that I have not prepared, so hopefully I explained this well. But it's like drawing shit, all right? Because, like, there are commissions and stuff. I could draw, like, the things people want me to do. But is that, like, pandering? And, like, am I going to enjoy it and stuff? And should I draw, like, what makes me happy? And and yeah, there's definitely some, like, stress involved with that, because, like, I could draw things for our people, like my friends, like draw things that they would like, but I'd rather know, at least at first, what I would want to do for my own happiness. Once I figure that out, then maybe I can squeeze that stuff into it. And it's why I didn't really like the idea of commissions, I guess. It was more of a feeling thing, so there's not much logic to it. But now comparatively, I've first of all, like, my relationship with drawing, like, is, the feelings are complicated, but I can enjoy drawing something, but for some reason I'd still want, like, validation. And so, like, if nobody, like, comments on it or anything, then I feel like it's just being ignored, and it's like, and for some reason ruins the whole thing. But it can get more complicated than that, but, like, to try and get back on track, like, now, like, I have a current drawing that I'm doing for a friend that, like, requested it, and I haven't worked on it for a long while. I could have, but I didn't. I'm putting my intention towards other things, mostly my chores and shit, and trying to stay sane. And that hasn't worked out half the time, but now how I feel about it is, like, it's okay. Like, if it's okay for not all of my chores to be done. It's okay for me to do something for someone else sometimes, and for their happiness, instead of, like, thinking of just my own and shit. And so, like, I'm just kind of more okay with it now, which is strange, because I guess there is a purpose to it now. It's like making them happy, doing something good for them. It might not be the most good, but even if it's a little, like, that's something that I can find worth in to justify my suffering. Or at least my struggles. Even if I'm not exactly in a good space, I guess. Because before thinking of all this, my apartment is kind of not in a good space. I'd say it's not as like dirty as our places, but it's kind of there. It's kind of there. I'm not like a hoarder, but there's still clutter. There's room to walk, but still not really clean, especially the linoleum floors, the tiled floors or whatever they're called. I have ants invading. I got one liquid bait trap down because like it was just got out of hand right before fucking inspections and just but it's still stressful, but it's like so fucking weird to me because of the idea that good people deserve good things. Right? So I was just thinking about like what would make my life a good life, I guess. Fuck, I don't even know if that's a good description. But like I guess I also didn't feel like there was much worth doing, like in comparison to the amount of effort and trouble and yeah, I really don't know how to describe it. I kind of would like to try and understand it better. I could end it now. I'm supposed to be fucking sleeping. That'd do me some good. But I still want to do this. I still want to try and explore this. So, my content. I haven't upload in at least a few days. Haven't done one of these videos in like a few days. I'm only like trying to stream like once a week, and now I'm thinking I don't need to get anywhere with any of it. And it's weird, like it's not total peace, but there is a peace there. And it's really strange. I don't understand it. But that doing good things thing is kind of just a kind of purpose that just calms and quiets me down, I guess. To where I don't need to have fun with others all that much. And I can strangely accept myself to where, because I've been going through kind of journey where like I'm not a good friend. Hold on, my back's itching. I need to get my back scratcher. It's really fucking annoying. But I'm not all that good of a friend. I don't really message a lot of people. I usually don't message people unless they message me first. And I don't really hang out with people as much, especially now that like I'm trying to take care of my own responsibilities and shit. I only really help people if it's an opportunity. I don't really go out of my way to do shit for others or even to hang out with others. And it kind of distresses me because, like, you know, if I'm not good, then people are going to justify treating me like shit. But if people believe I'm good, that also fucking scares me because if they're gonna, all they need to do is see something bad about me and fucking see me as a bad person, and that's enough of a justification to treat me like shit. But and so being called a good person doesn't actually make me feel safe. Especially when I believe that they're wrong, because I know that I have the same darkness in me that Hitler does, so. And I see everyone else as being the same way. So. But, how am I supposed to deal with the fact that I'm not a good friend? this is just the way I am, right? And I feel like I've got to hide that, or at least be a good friend, because if not, then bad shit's gonna happen. But I don't know. This talk doesn't fucking make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to my mind, but I guess this talk is just me being desperate to understand what's happening with me, I guess. I wanted to also like take the opportunity to like, if there is like a path or whatever that I can see me walking down or something, then I should seize it, you know? Like, if I can actually think of like a plan, I should seize it, record it, so that I can have it in my memory and shit, to where I won't just lose it and then I'm back to square one. That's like a fear of my frontal fucking lobe, my conscious. So what now, huh? I mean, I should stop this to get some sleep. I guess I'm still worrying about the future, but strange that I don't have to go anywhere with my life exactly. I mean, there's a kind of framework, but it's not like I'm trying to be successful so I can get money to live a fucking hopefully easier life, because that's probably not gonna fucking happen. Even if it did happen, it wouldn't actually fucking get results. But it feels right, and logically it seems right with my past experiences, especially at a young age. And it kind of makes sense with how a friend would put things when he's not in a good state of mind. But yeah, I guess I'm just gonna end it here. Like I kind of desperately want to have some kind of epiphany or think of things in a way that I can actually like have some kind of aha moment where I can actually explain shit better, but I can't really force it, and that's not gonna, trying to force it isn't gonna do me much good. But this is an attempt, at least. So I'll most likely be still mulling it over and stuff. So yeah, I should definitely be trying to sleep. But for anyone listening, thanks for listening. Feel free to leave your thoughts and feelings below in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.